So what's up people, welcome back to Hollywood Breakdowns, and I'm your friendly Hollywood Breakdowner, Prajeth. And today, again, I'm gonna be reviewing the next 3 episodes of your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. Okay, so initially when the show came out, I wasn't planning on making a review. Then I saw the premiere and it broke all my expectations, so I wanted to make a review. Then I was planning on making a review after all the episodes were out, but these 3 episodes were even better. And a lot has happened, so I just felt like making a mid-season review. So these 3 episodes have actually changed a lot of my opinions on the show. Because when I watched the first 2 episodes, as much as I liked it, I thought it was just another Spider-Man show that featured another Peter Parker story. But after watching the next 3 episodes, I feel like Marvel has worked out some magic. They have cooked. Without further ado, let's get into the review. So episode 3 picks off exactly where episode 2 ended. Norman finds out that Peter is Spider-Man and he asks Peter about it. And Peter tries to come up with excuses, and Norman was saying, bro, you could have done better saying that Spider-Man is your friend. And then he admits that he is Spider-Man. And then Norman Osborn says that he actually created this internship to find out who is Spider-Man, because Spider-Man saved Harry's life in the first episode and he wanted to do something for Spider-Man. He asked Peter what he wants. Peter, of course, being humble, he says he doesn't want anything, and Norman Osborn wants to team up with Spider-Man, but of course Peter has reasons to keep his identity a secret. He doesn't want people around him to get hurt, and if Norman or any of Oscorp's members teams up with Spider-Man, of course they have a risk of getting hurt, and Peter does not want that, so he rejects Norman's offer. And then we see 2 characters, Maria and James, getting some high-tech weapons from an unknown dealer, and with the weapons they become the Tarantula and Speed Demon. And then they proceed to rob a jewelry store where Spider-Man comes to interfere and fight them, but he easily gets defeated by these weapons lah.
You brought a knife to a website? It's actually really smart.
Then Norman Osborn contacts him by hacking his phone, and he helps Spider-Man defeat the 2 villains. And after this, Peter feels that teaming up with Norman Osborn might be a good thing, and of course he goes to Norman Osborn and talks about it, and of course Norman is open to it. So yeah, they become a team, and I gotta talk about how when they first introduced Norman, they showed him as this intimidating character. His voice, everything reminded me of Willem Dafoe, and now he's just becoming a bit more friendly with Peter, because Peter is after all Spider-Man, who is the guy who saved his son. I have to say, episode 1 and 2, I didn't find it really funny, but there are some moments in these 3 episodes that I just started laughing out loud. And then there's of course the character called Lonnie Lincoln, who is the Tombstone in the comics, and we see his family getting into some trouble because his younger brother joins a gang called the 110, and then they do some illegal stuff, causing the police to show up at Lonnie's house. When Lonnie goes out to get his brother back, he goes to the 110, their sort of hangout area, and he walks in and calls his brother home, and the brother is ready to leave, but the gang leader there, called Big Donovan, he is a character from the comics, he says, you can't just walk into my area without an introduction and take one of my guys away. And yeah, Lonnie Lincoln introduces himself to Big Don, and Big Don says, yeah, I know who you are, you can't just take my guy away. Lonnie offers to replace his brother, not willingly. He says it to save his brother, because Lonnie is not going to let his brother join a gang. So he says, how about you let my brother leave and I'll do whatever you want. So of course Big Don takes up the offer, because that's such a great upgrade. And so the episode ends with Norman and Peter teaming up while Lonnie joins the 110. Moving on, then episode 4 starts, and we have this scene where Peter meets Harry as he's about to enter Norman's office. Peter tells Harry how his father is actually quite intimidating, but whenever Peter is talking to Norman, he's actually joking half the time. Like, he doesn't seem intimidated at all. He's like always informal. So when Peter is telling Harry that Norman is actually a bit intimidating, it was kind of ironic, because you're so chill whenever Norman is around, and then now you're saying that he's actually scary, bro.
Come on, man, please.
But moving on, Norman tells Peter about the Sokovia Accords, and then in the TV we can see the news showing footage of the fight that Captain America and Iron Man have at the airport in Germany. So, I mean, we do see Ant-Man in the news, so makes me wonder who replaced Spider-Man in Team Iron Man.
Underoos!
Then Norman tells Peter that his R&D team has actually put together a suit, and then Peter even makes a joke saying that,
You know I'm not Thor, right? Because looking at this, all I'm hearing is, you are not worthy.
You're underestimating yourself.
this show really, at sometimes, whatever you think in your mind when you look at a scene, Peter just says it out. So I think that's one of the reasons why this show is so good. And then we get a scene of Peter trying out the suit, and since the suit has a cape, it actually gets stuck somewhere, and then Peter gets beaten up by the people he's supposed to beat up. And that was a funny thing, but he proceeds back to Oscorp, and Norman says, okay, we'll try a new suit. And I was expecting a montage of him trying out the suits that we've seen in the concept art.
Yo, check out his dumb costume.
Is my suit really that bad?
Ouch.
I want to offer you any help you need. Look at what my team has put together.
I'm gonna need to see some other options. This is actually pretty cool. Next, please. Here's your balloon. None of these suits are right.
You and I will be perfecting what comes next.
We have a winner.
Your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, now available on Disney+.
But luckily they did not do that, and they proceeded to move the story on with Lonnie. I'm not gonna talk about everything here, so the next main thing that happened was Big Donovan, being a bit skeptical about Lonnie, sends Lonnie to a place where another gang called the Scorpions, yes, the head of the Scorpions is the Scorpion. He sends Lonnie to the Scorpions' territory to get some food, and of course Lonnie, without knowing that that's the Scorpions' territory, he goes there, and everyone knows he's from the 110, so the Scorpions kinda like ask him to spread a message to Big Don, and they also follow Lonnie, but Lonnie outruns them and takes a train back to 110, and he has this small argument with Big Don saying that you sent me there, and he gets a bit pissed. And of course Big Don says, now they've seen your face, they're not going to let you alone, you need us, you need the protection. Yeah, I mean, he has no choice but to stay with Big Don. And then we get to see Peter try out a new suit, and after their third suit that didn't go well, when Peter comes back to Oscorp, Norman Osborn was like, sorry Peter that I'm forcing you to do all this. I want to create a new generation of heroes who take accountability for the damage that they cause, because he refers to how the Hulk is like one gamma explosion away from destroying the whole city, and how the Avengers decimated a whole city trying to destroy an AI that they created. So he wants to create this new generation of heroes that are going to be taking responsibility for whatever they do. He wants to start it with Spider-Man, so that's why he's trying to help Spider-Man. After Norman says that he wants to create this new generation of superheroes, he brings out another suit, which is a version of the Future Foundation suit from the comics, and we've seen this in the trailers. It looks amazing, perfected the design for the Spider-Man suit, just that it has to be red and blue. So the episode ends with Peter using his new suit to save some people who got into an accident because of 4 people who robbed a place. The 4 people are also villains in the comics. One of them is supposed to be the Rhino's father, but I think he's going to be the Rhino in the show. Another one of them is the Unicorn, who actually becomes the Unicorn in the next episode. For the third person, he's actually called Dimitri, and as soon as I saw that character, I knew who he was. Because we all know that guy called Dimitri from Far From Home, who was part of Nick Fury's team, and everyone had this speculation that he's going to be the Chameleon. But of course, there were some people who doubted it, because all that they said about him was that his name is Dimitri. They didn't reveal his last name, so people couldn't confirm that he is the Chameleon. But in this show, they said his full name. Character looks exactly like the guy from Far From Home, so I think we can confirm that. So after Peter saves the people, he heads back to Oscorp, and he immediately removes his mask in Norman's office without realizing that Harry Osborn was actually there with Norman.
Holy crap, you're Spider-Man.
No, I'm not.
And then Peter tries to hide his logo and say, I'm not. But I mean, there's no saving you, Peter, in that one. You got caught red-handed. But it was really cute how Peter reacted. I started laughing at that scene. So it was moments like these that made me laugh. Then we cut to a scene where we see the Unicorn looking at the news that her friends have been arrested. She actually escaped when the police arrested her friends. and she goes to this unknown dealer, and this unknown dealer is the same one from the previous episode from whom Speed Demon and Tarantula got their weapons from. We know that because it all had this logo, like it was like a horizontal 8, like an infinity symbol, and that was the same symbol on Butane weapons from the second episode as well. And then we get a big reveal that this unknown dealer is actually Dr. Octopus, and the episode ends there. All the episodes so far have great endings, if you realize. Okay, so moving on, in episode 5, Norman calls in Peter for a meeting before school starts. He says that Harry should join their team because he knows Peter is Spider-Man, and also Norman is not going to be available at all times, so Harry can help Norman fill in the space whenever he's not there. And Peter does not like this because, of course, he's not happy with people finding out his identity, but Norman does not leave him with any choice. And then Harry drops Peter at school, and he becomes the talk of the town because Harry is the son of one of the richest people in New York, and he's also a social media influencer on Instagram, so of course he has fans in Peter's school. Yeah, Peter gets a lot of fame because of Harry, and Nico doesn't like that. And then after school, Peter suits up to just swing around, and right after he turns on his comms, Harry shouts into the comms.
So, how was school today, Mr. Spider-Man?
Were you seriously just waiting for me to turn the comms on?
Alright, I'm gonna be completely honest with you. I almost definitely was. I was so bored, dude.
And that was like such a cute and funny moment. Like, I just started laughing there. Like, it shows how these guys are immature. Also, at the start, when Peter was meeting Norman, Norman was talking about Harry.
He may only be 15.
16.
16.
Those moments that make the show even more funny.
Everyone else said I was crazy to recruit a 14-year-old kid.
I'm 15.
No, this is where you zip it. All right, the adult is talking.
Oh yeah, and then after that, when Norman is like asking Harry to be part of the team, Harry is like,
He can be your...
Dude at the desk!
Not how I would have put it, but sure.
and the way Harry said it reminded me of Ned saying that he's guy in the chair in Homecoming.
Can I be your guy in the chair?
What?
All these scenes are heartwarming and amusing. I just love this show, man. You see Harry and Peter talk to each other, find out more about each other. They kind of become close as Peter's swinging around and they get to know each other. So that was a nice sequence there. Then we see the unicorn wearing her helmet that she just got from Doc Ock, trying to break out her friends from prison. We get a whole sequence of her fighting Peter and all that. Then at the same time, we also get a sequence of the 1/10 gang fighting the Scorpion gang, and yeah, and we actually see the Scorpion there. Of course, he's not in his Scorpion suit, he's just there as a normal human. Mac Gargan actually takes a knife. He starts walking towards Big Don to stab him. Lonnie intervenes. He actually gets stabbed in the arm, and the police was arriving, so the Scorpions couldn't do anything about it and they had to run away. But because of how Lonnie saved Big Don starts appreciating Lonnie, and because of all the brotherhood and the protection Lonnie is getting from the gang members, he kind of fits in the gang and he opens up to them and finally becomes part of the gang. So we always knew that this was coming. We knew that Lonnie will become a bad person by the end of the show, and it's now happening. But it wasn't for the reasons that I thought it would be. Big Don always called Lonnie Superstar, so now Lonnie told him not to call him Superstar, and everyone was going to call him, I think, Gravedigger.
Hell, the way you buried Gargan, we should start calling you Gravedigger.
It didn't really sound good, so Big Don said, I'm going to call you the Tombstone, and everyone was like, whoa, that sounds so cool.
Nah, we should call you Tombstone.
Tombstone? Yeah, I can't lie. Kinda like it.
So yeah, I mean, we all saw it coming. He's going to become Tombstone, like in the comics, and I'm actually kind of excited to see how they're going to make him turn white, because the Tombstone has some kind of albinism in the comics, and that's why he's completely white. This is all that happened in these 3 episodes, and I previously gave this show a rating of 4.5 out of 5 for the first 2 episodes, but these 3 episodes have scaled up in terms of everything. The humor is better, the story is better. I have a better sense of the direction in which Marvel is taking the show in, and the characters have always been written well. I think after seeing these 3 episodes, it's fair to say that this show can get a 5 out of 5 rating, and we are only halfway through it. 5 more episodes. It is goated. So guys, go check out Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man if you haven't yet. Get a Disney Plus subscription. And I'll meet you guys in another great video. And I'm always your friendly Hollywood breakdowner, Prajeth. Bye.